Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace upon you all. My name is Abu Bakr. I was one of the participants on the Global Smooth Flotilla. A non-violent mission made up of 496 ordinary civilians from 46 different countries that were doing what our government should have done, and that was to break the siege on Gaza. I just landed on Friday morning, so I apologize. I haven't prepared anything. I've been trying to get some rest and trying to recover after a, I guess, difficult journey. But there is a few things that I want to highlight. Firstly, I want to thank you all so much for the love, support, solidarity that you guys showed to try to get us out of those prisons, to try to free us from being kidnapped. This just shows we are community, we have a heart, and nothing can change that. They stole all my belongings, but what they didn't know is I have a community back home that is worth way more than everything that they stole. When I first arrived to prison, I was thrown into a cage 4 by 6 meters with 83 other men. I was unaware of where I was. They refused to tell us. So I took this as an opportunity to look outside the cage and see, is there anything, any sign that could tell me where I was? There was nothing. But in the distance, I saw 3 police officers holding 2 Palestinians, hands chained, feet chained, blindfolded. They were being escorted to, I have no idea. And when I was released out of prison, I was so happy. But I thought, I've been freed, but what about those 2 Palestinians that I saw at the same time that I was brought to prison? I was freed alongside the other activists, but what about the 10,000 Palestinian hostages that are being held in prisons? Innocent mothers, innocent children, innocent fathers that have been stripped of their right of humanity, that have been stripped of everything. And our government is complicit in every one of these acts. Penny Wong. Coward! There's a lot of children, so I'll keep it PG. But she had the audacity to say we manufacture non-lethal parts for the F-45. And this was being played on repeat in my mind while I was in prison. Why? Because we were only 20 kilometers away from Gaza. We had no access to a clock, but I knew when it was midnight. Why? Because as soon as midnight struck, we had dozens of fighter jets flying over our prison, making their way to Gaza to destroy innocent lives, to destroy Gaza. Yet she has the audacity to say we are manufacturing non-lethal parts.
Liar!
What non-lethal part is there of a fighter jet?
Liar!
We are manufacturing weapons that are taking the lives of innocent children. This will always be Australia's history. a history of supporting genocide of the Aboriginal people, a history of supporting the genocide of the Palestinian people. They had time and time and time and time again to prove their humanity. They had time and time and time again to change their views, but they were comfortable. They are comfortable standing there with their hands covered in the blood of the Palestinians.
Change!
So we'll continue our fight. Palestine is not free. Palestine is still occupied. Palestine is still under apartheid. 10,000 Palestinians are still being held hostage. So we'll continue our fight. And I just want to end with one final thing. Talking here today really does mean a lot to me. And the reason I say this is because in prison, we were humiliated, we were tortured, we were abused, I was kicked, I was slapped, I was humiliated. And they did this with the goal that I will come home and I will remain silent. But to those IDF soldiers, to those Israeli soldiers that thought they could silence us, look now, we will never be silent. They thought they could use their violence and their terrorism against us to place fear in our hearts, to scare us. But let me tell you something. Do not allow yourself to be scared. Do not allow them to place fear in your heart, because there is nothing to fear when you're on the right side of history. Free Palestine!
How good does it feel to be out of that Zio hellhole and come back to be with people who care and who will fight for justice? But it's bittersweet because we are meeting on the stolen land of Gadigal country, and we are so good at genocide in this country. We know how to almost erase an entire population of First Nations people. So having looked those psychopathic serial killers in their cold dead eyes, I come back to this country and I am really aware of my white privilege, my complicity, and what I need to continue to do, which until my last dying breath, I will continue to call out the fucking bullshit of this government. This war criminal government that pretend that we don't manufacture and send weapons. Now they're saying we indirectly send weapons. We make weapons here. Rosebank makes weapons. Elbit does. HTA. We have blood on our hands in this country, and we need to keep our politicians. They are morally bankrupt, and they will go down as the war criminals that they are. And so our job as a collective is to force them to own up, to sanction Israel, to get out of bed with this Trumpian kind of bully boy death cult that we're so desperate to be at the table with. And the Zionist lobby group in this country has so much power, but our leaders need to show true vision and get back to their moral compass. This is a Prime Minister who used to be at the front of student marches for Palestine. Where is he? Where is he today? Come on, Albo. Like, why are you not here with us? For almost 500, ordinary people from all around the world went on these boats to try and break the illegal siege on Gaza, and we got 20 nautical miles away. We could see the land. And this time, we're going to go back with 150 boats, with 200 boats. We need you to join us, because I'm not a very good sailor, but I've got a bit of fire in my belly, and I'm going to go back. So hit me up, and I'll get you on a boat. And there's a lot of stuff that we can do a postmortem of later about torture and abuse, and every violation in human rights were completely desecrated. But imagine, what happened to us, and we can talk about it later, but imagine what's happening to Palestinians. There are 11,000 Palestinians in prison, the 400 children who are in prison. At night time, we could hear the crying of some of those kids in the prison that we were in. We could hear the Alsatians. We could hear the Alsatians go into those prisons, and then we could hear the horror. We could hear children crying for their mothers.
Fuck Israel.
Right, and these, like, Zionist serial killers, they knew that they weren't allowed to kill us because we were using our white privilege, and the eyes of the world were on us, but the eyes of the world are not on the Palestinians at the moment, and they need to be. We need to stand with them in solidarity and love and keep fighting. We need to sanction Israel. We need to stop the two-way arms trade. We've got to stop fucking, sorry I'm swearing, I'm really emotional. Our vote, yeah, I mean,
Fuck Israel.
yeah, we basically fuck Israel, that's true. There was, there's been some moments of joy and resilience, and there was this one story. We were about maybe 3 hours away from getting intercepted, and the Zios keep blocking our VHF radio so we can't communicate with the outside world. And the way they do that is they play a Bob Marley song, Three Little Birds, which is like, don't worry about a thing because everything's going to be all right. And after that comes on the radio, they drone bomb us. And so we were in this sort of hellhole, but we managed to get a tiny bit of internet. And a doctor who was working in Palestine was on, I don't know if it was, I can't even remember what platform it was, but he was saying, you're 20 miles away. I've been working for months patching together children's limbs. I haven't slept, haven't eaten, I'm exhausted. But what would you guys like for lunch? So it's just, their capacity for love under occupation and torture and starvation and almost the total erasure of a entire population is overwhelming, and it's heartbreaking, but it keeps us so strong in our fight. So I want you to join us to, stop this hell, stop this genocide, and I really think we can do it. So thank you all. Free Palestine!
They wanted to scare us. They scuffed us up a bit. We experienced some violence, some sexual violence, some abuse. We were all in that cage when we first arrived at Kitsia, crammed in for Ben-Gvir to have a little media moment with us. It was a pleasure to call him a child killer to his face. But let's not exaggerate our experience too much, because we very much got the 5-star Western passport privileged version of being in Kitsia prison. We're talking about a place where Palestinians are routinely tortured to death over and over and over. Not tortured, tortured so often and so frequently that they're tortured to death. People who haven't been charged with a crime that are there on administrative detention. People that are stolen from their families in the night and never return because they're tortured to fucking death. People are starting to realize that Israel is a genocidal terror state. But Israel has always been a genocidal terror state. And for 50 years before Israel was created, the Zionists that planned and conceived of the idea of Israel were planning and conceiving of the idea of a terror state. It's in the DNA of the state, and it will always be in the DNA of the state. No ceasefire, no plan for some war criminals from the other side of the world to come and administer the Strip. No temporary end to the violence can stop us from demanding an end to the genocidal terror state. Nothing can stop us until there is peace and equality and justice for all human beings in historical Palestine, from the river until the sea. I'm going to do a really short little piece that I wrote for the Palestinian warriors in the crowd, for some people in Palestine who I'm close with, some of whom, when we were 25 nautical miles away from the shore and the sun was rising, I was speaking to, and they were on the shore waiting for us, and I was so certain that we would make it. We got so fucking close. I just want to do this little piece. Careful conceiving of the martyrs in the sky, because they're here, living and breathing in your heart, up in your mind, not just basking in the light, on the path and in the fight, in the darkness, in the fire, in the spark that's in your eyes. I see them. I hear them in the laughter of your child, for real, and they fear them every march and every riot, every act of resistance, every part of the defiance, every activist, resistance fighter, artist and writer, every youth and every student of truth in every movement that the partisans and other intifadas inspired, every bellow bellowed out of every pair of lips, every peace activist ever maligned as terrorist by these venomous, violent, malevolent tyrants. So be careful conceiving of the martyrs in the sky, because they're here, living and breathing in our hearts and in our minds. And if we take them with us in the fight through all time, we will know that's how the martyrs never die. Glory to the martyrs.